There is a certain kind of person who seems to feel life differently. They notice small things that others miss, the look on someone's face, the slight change in the tone of a conversation, the tension that fills a room when no one says anything at all. And while this ability to notice and to feel so deeply is often seen as a gift, it can also feel like carrying the weight of the world. If you have ever wondered why some moments stay with you longer than they should, or why you seem to feel pain that others shake off easily, you might be someone who feels life more deeply than most. This is what we are exploring today. Why those who are naturally sensitive, the quiet observers and deep feelers, get hurt more than anyone else, and why understanding this is the first step to healing. Chapter 1. The sensitivity that cuts both ways. There is something extraordinary about the way a deeply sensitive person moves through the world. They do not just see what happens around them. They feel it, they absorb it, they carry it. Imagine walking into a room and instantly sensing the mood without anyone saying a word. Imagine hearing someone speak and feeling the emotions behind their words almost as strongly as they do. For some, this is not imagination at all. It is everyday life, and it is both a profound gift and an immense challenge. When you live like this, joy feels almost electric. Small moments, a kind word, a gentle laugh, a peaceful morning, seem to touch you in a way that lingers long after the moment has passed. The beauty of life is magnified, and you often find yourself deeply moved by things that others might overlook. A sunset can bring tears to your eyes. A quiet act of kindness can stay with you for days. Your heart is tuned to a frequency that allows you to experience connection and meaning on a level that is rare. But that same sensitivity that brings so much beauty into your life is also the reason pain can feel unbearable. Words that are careless can cut deeper. Silence can feel heavier. The smallest change in someone's tone can shake your sense of peace. Because you are so tuned in, you cannot easily turn away. You notice the tension in the air, the sadness that lingers in someone's voice, the anger that no one speaks about, but everyone feels. And even if it has nothing to do with you, you feel it all the same. This is what makes being highly sensitive such a paradox. It is what makes life both breathtaking and exhausting. You feel as though your heart is constantly wide open, unshielded from what is happening around you. When others might shrug off a harsh moment, you hold it. When others might quickly forget a passing comment, you replay it in your mind, searching for what it means. You are deeply affected because you are deeply connected. Many people may not understand this. They may see it as overreacting or taking things too seriously. They may tell you to toughen up or to stop being so sensitive. But what they do not see is that this sensitivity is not something you can switch off. It is how you were made. It is the lens through which you experience the world. It is not a flaw. It is a kind of emotional intelligence, a depth of feeling that allows you to notice and care in ways others cannot. Still, living this way can be hard. You might find yourself exhausted by situations that do not seem to affect anyone else. You might find yourself thinking about conversations long after they have ended. You might even wonder if something is wrong with you, because you cannot seem to just let things go as easily as others do. But there is nothing wrong with you. In fact, this is one of your greatest strengths. You are capable of noticing what is hidden, of caring about what others miss, of connecting deeply with life itself. The challenge comes from learning how to live with this level of awareness without letting it drown you. To be this open-hearted is to risk being hurt. And for those who feel so deeply, the hurt can feel like it reaches into every corner of who you are. This is why we say that empaths, sensitive people, get hurt more than anyone else, because they are not just touched by life on the surface, they are touched all the way through. This chapter is about honoring that reality. It is about recognizing that your ability to feel so much is not a weakness, but a reflection of your humanity. It is about understanding that the very thing that allows you to experience life so richly is also the thing that makes you vulnerable. And it is about beginning to see that this vulnerability, while sometimes painful, is also what gives your life meaning. Chapter 2. Taking on what isn't yours. One of the hardest things about feeling so deeply is that you often do not just feel your own emotions. You feel everyone else's too. It can happen so quickly and so subtly that you do not even realize it is happening. You might be having a perfectly calm day, and then someone walks into the room carrying tension, frustration, or sadness, and suddenly you feel different. Your body tightens, your chest feels heavy, your thoughts start to shift, and before you know it, you are holding emotions that were never yours to begin with. This is something so many sensitive people experience. They absorb the energy of the spaces they are in as if they are emotional sponges. When someone around them is hurting, they feel it almost as if it is their own pain. When someone is angry, they feel the heat of it in their own body. And while this ability to pick up on the feelings of others can make you incredibly compassionate, it can also be exhausting. Carrying emotions that are not yours can leave you feeling overwhelmed without knowing why. You might notice that your mood shifts for no clear reason, or that you suddenly feel drained after being around certain people. This is because you have taken on something that does not belong to you, and your mind and body are trying to process it. It can feel like walking around with a backpack full of weights that you did not choose to carry. The problem is that when you are someone who notices so much, it is hard to not step in and try to help. You want to make things better. You want to soothe the discomfort you feel in others because their discomfort becomes your discomfort. But this can lead to a pattern where you spend much of your energy managing emotions that are not your responsibility. You might take on someone else's frustration and try to fix it. You might take on someone's sadness and make it your job to lift them up. And slowly, your own emotional space becomes crowded with feelings that are not even yours. Over time, this can blur the line between what you are actually feeling and what you have picked up from those around you. You might struggle to know where other people's emotions end and where yours begin. You might even mistake someone else's pain for your own, and that can leave you feeling like you're constantly weighed down by emotions that do not make sense. This is one of the reasons empaths often get hurt more than anyone else. They are not only processing their own experiences, they are processing the experiences of everyone around them. Their hearts are carrying double, sometimes triple, the emotional load. And it can be lonely because few people realize how much work it takes to carry that invisible weight. Learning to notice when you are taking on what is not yours is one of the most important steps toward protecting your well-being. It is not about shutting down your compassion or becoming less caring. It is about giving yourself permission to gently put down what is not yours to carry. It is about remembering that you can feel with someone without taking on their pain as your own. You can care without losing yourself in their struggle. When you begin to do this, something powerful happens. You start to reclaim your emotional space. You start to feel lighter, clearer, and more grounded. You are still compassionate. You are still deeply caring, but you are no longer overwhelmed by the weight of emotions that do not belong to you. You begin to see that protecting your own heart allows you to show up with more love and more strength for the people who truly need you. Chapter 3. The Struggle to Protect Your Heart. One of the most tender challenges for those who feel deeply is learning how to protect their hearts without closing them off. When you are highly sensitive, your heart is like an open door. Every emotion, every unspoken tension, every shift in energy seems to walk right in. You do not just observe life from a distance, you're right there in it, feeling every moment fully. This openness is what makes you so compassionate, so caring, so ready to be there for others. But it is also what leaves you vulnerable. When you care this much, even small things can cut deeply. A careless word can stay with you for days. An unresolved misunderstanding can weigh on you far longer than it would for most people. Because you are wired to search for meaning and connection, you find yourself going over the details again and again, wondering what you could have done differently, wondering if you missed something important. And so many empaths develop a quiet habit of putting themselves last. They tell themselves it is easier to just absorb the hurt than to risk conflict. They hold back their true feelings to keep the peace. They go out of their way to make sure everyone else is comfortable, even when they themselves are quietly in pain. They take responsibility for making things better, even when it's not theirs to fix. But living like this slowly begins to take its toll. When you ignore your own feelings for too long, you begin to lose touch with them. You stop noticing your own limits. You tell yourself you're fine, even when you're running on empty. You begin to believe that being strong means always showing up for others and never needing anything in return. This is the struggle to protect your heart, not in the sense of building walls or shutting people out, but in the sense of remembering that your heart deserves care too, that it is not selfish to step back when something is hurting you, that it is not unkind to say no when you have nothing left to give, that protecting your peace does not mean you are abandoning others. It means you are preserving yourself so you can continue to give in a way that is healthy and sustainable. For many empaths, this can feel incredibly uncomfortable at first. Saying no, setting boundaries, letting go of responsibility, it can feel unnatural, even wrong. But the truth is, boundaries are not a sign of weakness. They are a sign of self-respect. They are a way of saying, I care deeply, but I also care about my own well-being. And here is the beautiful part. When you begin to protect your heart, you do not become colder or less compassionate. In fact, you often become warmer, more present, and more grounded. You are no longer weighed down by resentment or exhaustion. You are able to love more freely because you are no longer loving at the expense of yourself. This chapter is about learning that protecting your heart is not about closing yourself off from the world. It is about staying open in a way that does not hurt you. It is about giving yourself permission to step back, to take care of your needs, and to let go of the weight that was never meant for you to carry. Chapter 4. Why the hurt feels so personal. For those who feel deeply, pain does not just skim the surface, it sinks in. It moves through you like ripples that touch every corner of your inner world. What might be a passing moment for someone else can become a storm inside you. This is because empaths do not just notice pain. They engage with it. They turn it over in their minds. They explore it. They try to understand it. When something hurts, you may find yourself searching for answers. You might ask yourself why it happened, what it meant, what you could have done differently. You're not just reacting to what happened. You're trying to piece together the deeper story behind it. And in that process, you sometimes turn inward and wonder if the pain says something about you. This is one of the reasons hurt feels so personal. You're not content to just move on. You want to make sense of it. You want to understand where it came from so you can prevent it from happening again. But sometimes, in that search for understanding, you take on more responsibility than you should. You might blame yourself for things that were never yours to fix. You might convince yourself that you are somehow at fault, simply because you were affected so deeply. This pattern can make the pain linger. Instead of being something that passes, it becomes something you carry. You replay the moment in your head, each time feeling the sting all over again. You notice every little detail, every word, every silence. And because you feel so deeply, those memories can cut as sharply the 10th time as they did the first. When you live this way, the world can feel heavy. It is not that you're weak, quite the opposite. It takes strength to keep showing up when you feel everything so strongly. It takes courage to keep caring when the hurt has been so deep. But this is why empaths often get hurt more than anyone else. They do not just experience pain, they engage with it. They carry it with them until they can find a way to make sense of it. And yet, there is something profoundly beautiful about this depth of feeling. It means that you are someone who is deeply alive. It means that you are tuned in not only to what happens, but to what it means. It means that when you heal in a way that transforms you. Your pain teaches you, it shapes you. It deepens your ability to connect with others and to move through life with compassion and grace. The key is learning how to honor that pain without letting it define you, to let it teach you without letting it hold you back, to feel it fully but also to release it when the time comes. Because when you do that, you allow yourself to step into a lighter, freer version of yourself, one who still feels deeply but is no longer weighed down by what has already passed. Chapter 5. Finding healing and building resilience. There comes a point when carrying the weight of pain becomes too heavy to bear. This moment can feel like a breaking point, but often it is really a turning point. It is the moment where you realize that something has to change, that the way you have been holding on to everything is no longer sustainable. For empaths, this moment can feel both scary and liberating, because it means stepping back from patterns that may have been with you for years. Healing begins when you give yourself permission to stop being the one who holds everything together for everyone else and simply hold space for yourself. This can feel strange at first, almost selfish, because you're so used to being available, listening, and carrying other struggles alongside your own. But healing asks you to draw a line, to pause, to breathe, and to look inward. It asks you to give the same compassion to yourself that you so freely give to others. Resilience is not about becoming hard or closing yourself off to the world. It is not about shutting out feelings or pretending that pain does not exist. True resilience for an empath is learning how to let life move through you without getting stuck inside you. It is about allowing the hurt to come and teaching yourself to let it go when it is ready to leave. This means practicing gentleness toward yourself. It means choosing quiet moments where you can sit with what you feel without judgment. It means noticing the places where you tend to take on more than you should and gently reminding yourself that you do not have to solve everything. Slowly, you begin to build a kind of strength that does not rely on shutting down your sensitivity, but on channeling it in ways that support you instead of draining you. One of the most powerful parts of healing is learning to separate what belongs to you from what does not. As an empath, it can feel like every heavy emotion you sense must somehow be your responsibility. But resilience grows when you begin to recognize that not everything you feel is yours to carry. Some emotions are simply passing through, and your job is not to hold on but to witness them and let them go. Over time, you might notice a shift. The same moments that once would have left you exhausted no longer take as much from you. The words that once would have stayed in your mind for days begin to lose their grip more quickly. You start to feel lighter, freer, more present. You may still feel pain, but you also feel the joy of knowing you have the strength to move through it and come out the other side. Healing does not erase your sensitivity, it refines it. It helps you see that your ability to feel so deeply is not a weakness, but a gift that needs care and balance. Resilience helps you show up in the world with that gift intact, but no longer at your own expense. And as you step into this way of living, you realize that you can still be there for others, but now you can be there for yourself too. At the heart of all this is a simple but powerful truth. Being an empath will always mean that you feel more, notice more, and care more. That is not something that needs to be fixed or hidden. It is something that can be honored. What changes everything is how you choose to live with that sensitivity. When you start giving yourself the same understanding that you give to others, you begin to experience your empathy, not as a burden, but as a balanced part of who you are. This journey is not about becoming someone else. It is about becoming more yourself. It is about letting go of the belief that you must always be strong for others at the cost of your own well-being. It is about learning to be strong for yourself too, to honor your limits, and to trust that the world does not fall apart when you choose to rest. As you walk forward, remember that you are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to care for yourself just as deeply as you care for everyone around you. That is not selfish. It is necessary. Because when you are well, when you are whole, when you are at peace with yourself, your gift of empathy becomes even more powerful. So let this be the moment you stop carrying more than you were meant to carry. Let it be the moment you choose to breathe, to step back, and to protect the light inside you, because that light matters, and the world needs it, but you need it most of all.